If you have ever wondered which vegetables are truly worth your time and garden space, you are not alone. Today, I am sharing 20 vegetables you should always grow. After 3 decades of gardening, I selected these based on ease of growing, productivity, health benefits, and taste. Stick around because later I will share one that practically grows itself, plus a bonus tip that could change your entire approach to the garden. The first vegetable on our list is beans, and there is a very good reason they earned this spot. Beans are one of the most complete foods you can grow in your garden. They are packed with protein, fiber, and B vitamins that support brain and nerve function. Whether you grow bush beans or pole beans, they are incredibly forgiving and will thrive in most soil types. This makes them perfect for beginners or anyone who wants a reliable harvest without a lot of fuss. You can eat them fresh off the vine, blanch and freeze them for winter, or let them dry on the plant for long-term storage. From green beans to kidney beans to black beans, the variety is almost endless. And here is something gardeners love about beans. They actually improve your soil by fixing nitrogen, which means your next crop will thank you. Plant them in full sun after your last frost. Give them something to climb if you choose a pole variety, and watch them produce for weeks on end. That researchers believe may help protect against certain cancers. It is a cool season crop, which means you can grow it in spring or fall, depending on your climate. In most zones, you will want to start seeds indoors about 6 weeks before your last spring frost or direct sow in late summer for a fall harvest. The key to great broccoli is keeping it cool and well watered. When temperatures climb too high, the heads bolt and turn bitter. After you harvest the main head, do not pull the plant. Most varieties will send out smaller side shoots for weeks, giving you an extended harvest from a single planting. Broccoli is wonderful steamed, roasted with a little olive oil and garlic, or even eaten raw with your favorite dip. It freezes beautifully too, so any surplus can be blanched and stored for soups and stir-fries all winter long. Once you taste homegrown broccoli, the supermarket stuff just will not compare. Now, if you're finding this video helpful so far, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps this video reach more gardeners like yourself, who would also find this information helpful. All right, let's continue. The fourth vegetable is zucchini, and if you have ever grown it, you know exactly why it belongs on this list. Zucchini is legendary for its productivity. A single plant can produce more fruit than a family of 4 can eat, which is why gardeners joke about leaving bags of zucchini on neighbors' doorsteps in the middle of the night. This summer, squash is incredibly easy to grow and thrives in warm weather. Plant seeds directly in the ground after your last frost when the soil has warmed to at least 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Give each plant about 3 feet of space because they spread out quickly. Zucchini is low in calories but high in potassium, vitamin C, and antioxidants. You can saute it, grill it, spiralize it into noodles, bake it into bread, or stuff it with your favorite filling. The key to the best flavor is harvesting when the fruit is 6 to 8 inches long. Let them get too big and they turn watery and bland. Check your plants every day or two during peak season because zucchini can double in size overnight. With just 2 or 3 plants, you will have more than enough to eat fresh and share with everyone you know. The fifth vegetable on our list is cucumbers, and these are a garden favorite for good reason. Cucumbers are refreshing, productive, and surprisingly easy to grow. They are made up of about 96% water, which makes them incredibly hydrating and a perfect low-calorie snack. They also contain vitamin K, potassium, and magnesium. Cucumbers are a warm season crop, so wait until after your last frost and the soil has warmed before planting. You can grow bush varieties in containers or let vining types climb a trellis to save space. Growing them vertically also keeps the fruit clean and makes harvesting easier on your back. From slicing cucumbers for salads to pickling varieties for homemade dills, the options in the kitchen are endless. One thing to remember is that cucumbers need consistent moisture. Let them dry out and you will end up with bitter fruit. Mulch around the base of your plants to retain moisture and water deeply a few times per week rather than a little bit every day. Harvest regularly to encourage more production. When you pick that first crisp cucumber still cool from the morning garden, you will understand why this vegetable has earned its place on the list. The sixth vegetable is tomatoes, and honestly, for many gardeners, this is the whole reason they started growing food in the first place. There is nothing quite like the taste of a sun-warmed tomato picked fresh from your own vine. Supermarket tomatoes simply cannot compare. Tomatoes are rich in lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that gives them their red color and may help protect against heart disease and certain cancers. They also contain vitamin C and K, potassium, and folate. Growing tomatoes is straightforward once you understand their needs. They love heat, full sun, and consistent watering. In most zones, start seeds indoors 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost. Then transplant once nighttime temperatures stay above 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Choose determinate varieties for compact spaces or indeterminate types for a longer harvest season. Stake or cage your plants to keep the fruit off the ground and improve air circulation. If you struggle with diseases or pests, cherry tomatoes are more forgiving and just as delicious. You can eat tomatoes fresh, roast them, turn them into sauce, or can them for winter. Once you grow your own heirloom varieties, you will taste flavors you never knew a tomato could have. The seventh vegetable is kale, and this leafy green has earned its reputation as a nutritional superstar. Kale is packed with vitamins A, C, and K, along with calcium, potassium, and antioxidants. It is one of the most nutrient-dense foods you can grow in your garden. What makes kale especially appealing is its toughness. This is a cool season crop that actually tastes sweeter after a frost. You can plant it in early spring or late summer for a fall and winter harvest. In Zone 7 and above, kale often survives the entire winter and keeps producing fresh leaves when almost nothing else is growing. Start seeds indoors or direct sow about 6 weeks before your last spring frost. Space plants about 18 inches apart and keep them well watered. Harvest the outer leaves first and let the center continue to grow. This way, a single plant can feed you for months. Kale is wonderful in salads, smoothies, soups, or simply sautéed with garlic and olive oil. You can also bake the leaves into crispy chips for a healthy snack. If you want a vegetable that keeps giving long after the summer garden has faded, peas, snap peas, and snow peas, each with their own charm in the kitchen. Snap peas are perfect for snacking right off the vine, nutritious staple on hand. The 14th vegetable is spinach, and this fast-growing green is perfect for gardeners who want quick results. Spinach is one of the most nutrient-dense foods you can eat, loaded with iron, calcium, vitamins A and C, and folate. It is also low in calories, making it an excellent choice for anyone watching their diet. Spinach is a cool season crop that bolts quickly in hot weather, so timing is everything. Plant seeds directly in the garden as soon as the soil can be worked in early spring or sow in late summer for a fall harvest. In mild climates, spinach can even overwinter with a little protection. Space seeds about 1 inch apart in rows and thin to 4 inches as they grow. Spinach prefers rich, moist soil and partial shade during warmer months to slow bolting. Harvest the outer leaves first or cut the entire plant at the base when it reaches full size. You can eat spinach raw in salads, blend it into smoothies, sauté it as a side dish, or add it to soups, pasta, and omelets. A small patch of spinach can provide several harvests before the heat arrives. So plant it early and plant it often. The 15th vegetable on our list is lettuce, and honestly, if you can only grow one thing, this might be the smartest choice. Lettuce is incredibly easy to grow, matures quickly, and gives you fresh salads just weeks after planting. It is high in vitamins A and K, provides hydration because of its high water content, and is virtually calorie-free. Lettuce is one of those foundational foods that makes everything better, from sandwiches to tacos, to that simple side salad with dinner. It is a cool season crop that thrives in spring and fall. Direct sow seeds in the garden as soon as the ground can be worked, barely covering them with soil since they need light to germinate. You can also succession plant every 2 to 3 weeks for a continuous harvest. Lettuce prefers partial shade in warmer weather, which helps prevent bitterness and bolting. There are so many varieties to explore, from crisp romaine to tender butterhead to colorful loose leaf types. Harvest the outer leaves as needed or cut the whole head when mature. Lettuce grows beautifully in containers too, making it perfect for patios and balconies. Once you taste lettuce picked fresh from your garden minutes before dinner, store-bought will never quite measure up again. The 16th vegetable is radishes, and these little root vegetables are the speedsters of the garden. If you need a quick win or want to introduce children to gardening, radishes are your answer. Some varieties mature in as little as 25 days, from seed to harvest. That kind of instant gratification keeps gardeners motivated, especially in early spring when everything else is just getting started. Radishes are a cool season crop that you can plant as soon as the soil is workable. Sow seeds directly in the ground about ½ an inch deep and 1 inch apart. Thin them to 2 inches once they sprout. They prefer loose, well-drained soil and consistent moisture. Let them dry out and they turn woody and overly spicy. Harvest promptly when the roots reach about 1 inch in diameter. Beyond their speed, radishes are surprisingly nutritious, offering vitamin C, potassium, and fiber. They add a peppery crunch to salads, make beautiful pickles, but the reward is worth it. They prefer loose, sandy soil, free of rocks and clumps, which allows the roots to grow straight and long. Heavy clay soil often produces forked or stunted carrots. Sow seeds directly in the garden about 2 to 3 weeks before your last frost, planting them just 1/4 inch deep. Carrot seeds are tiny and germinate slowly, sometimes taking 2 to 3 weeks to sprout. Keep the soil consistently moist during this period. Thin the seedlings to 2 inches apart once they are a few inches tall. You can grow carrots in spring and fall, and in many climates they actually taste sweeter after a light frost. Harvest when the tops of the roots are about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Store them in the refrigerator or leave them in the ground under mulch for fresh picking all winter. The 20th and final vegetable on our list is cauliflower, and I saved this one for last because it takes a little extra care but delivers big rewards. Cauliflower is part of the brassica family alongside broccoli and cabbage, and it shares many of the same nutritional benefits and microorganisms that break down organic matter and make nutrients available to your plants in a form they can actually use. The easiest way to build this living soil is by adding compost regularly. Spread 2 to 3 inches of compost over your beds each season and let it work its magic. You do not need to till it in deeply. The organisms in the soil will incorporate it naturally over time. When your soil is rich and alive, your plants develop stronger root systems, resist pests and diseases more effectively, and produce more abundant harvests. Think of compost as a long-term investment that pays dividends year after year. Gardeners who make this shift often say it transformed their results more than any fertilizer or fancy technique ever did. Thanks for sticking with me through the entire video. If you found this helpful, give it a like, subscribe for more gardening tips, and check out our other videos on growing a better garden.